Hello and welcome, all friends and devotees of yoga and Buddhism. Today is June the 19th, Wednesday, June the 19th, 2019. And I'm just going to go through some of the wisdom resources, wisdom library of Venerable Master Singyung. For those who may be watching my presentations, my videos, my instructions for the first time, Master Singyung he hardly really needs an introduction, but I'll still do it. He's a world famous celebrity, just like the Dalai Lama. Master Singyung is one of the most important, most foremost, most accomplished Buddhist authorities of today. Very elderly, in his 90s. He established the Fo Guangshang Buddhist Foundation, which was responsible for bringing Buddhist teachings to Africa by establishing the Nanhua Buddhist Foundation in Bronkhorstpoort, Johannesburg, South Africa. And of course, through this foundation, the African Buddhist Seminary, which has been very instrumental in teaching young Africans Buddhism and monastic discipline. Lots of monks, nuns, monks particularly graduating in this African Buddhist seminary in Johannesburg, South Africa. So Master Singyung was instrumental in establishing these huge organizations. Not just South Africa, this thing is going on all over the world. You have Philippines, so many institutes now coming out, universities, the United States of America, where I'm just coming from, Los Angeles, California. You have the University of the West, which used to be known as Silai University, is now University of the West. Fantastic. It's one of the most affordable institutions of higher learning in the United States, one of the most affordable universities. You also have Silai Temple, which is the largest Chinese Buddhist temple I think not just Chinese Buddhist, the largest temple in US and Canada. Silai Temple is very mighty. It's a very huge temple in Hacienda, Los Angeles, where I used to worship when I was in Los Angeles, California. So Master Singyung is very great Buddhist personality. He's the greatest Buddhist personality of our time. He has these huge works of Buddhism all over the world. And of course, just like the Dalai Lama, Master Singyung authored over 100 books. He authored a library himself, if you want to put it that way, of Buddhism. I'm just here combing through his wisdom library resources. Master Singyung has authored so many vast books of wisdom in Chinese, and he has a lot of monks, thousands of monks and nuns in the Fo Guangshang Buddhist organization. Some of these monks and nuns who happen to have studied English language and are able to speak English in addition to Chinese, they have really helped us here in translating Master Singyung's wisdom, Buddhist wisdom, into English language, making it very easy for some of us to pick it up. Some of us who have not had knowledge of English language, we are able to pick up these teachings a lot easier than if it was in Chinese. It would have been much more difficult to try to pick it up. So now, as a Nigerian American, my responsibility here is to try to teach Buddhism to Nigerians. Nigerians don't know anything about Buddhism at all, unfortunately. Most unfortunately, after so many thousands of years. This teaching, only Christianity was expounded in Nigeria by Portuguese missionaries about half a millennium ago, and then English missionaries also came and taught Christianity to Nigerians. You can only learn what you have been taught, right? You can't learn what you have not been taught. So in Nigeria, we cannot, right? We can't have knowledge of what we have not been taught, right? So I can't speak Russian because there was nobody to teach me Russian, right? My dad and my mom taught me Asan language. Of course I can speak Asan. My grandfather, great-grandmother, they taught me Asan, so I can speak Asan language. Some Edo language because I picked it up from my dad and my mom. Some Robo because we lived in Robo land. And my first teachers were Robo teachers, and so on and so forth, right? So in school, in the primary school. You can only teach what you have been taught. You can't teach what you have not been taught. English language, yes, because we're taught English language in schools in Nigeria, and so on and so forth. So all these languages that I'm able to speak are languages which I have been taught. Okay, a little bit of Chinese because I learned Chinese in the United States. Came to the United States, I started learning Chinese, learning to speak Chinese, learning to read Chinese, learning to write Chinese. So of course, I speak a little Chinese and I can write Chinese very well. I can write thousands of characters of Chinese Hanzi because I have spent decades, 20 years of my life learning the Hanzi, the Chinese writings. So of course, I can write Chinese writings because I've studied it for 20 years of my life. I spent 2 decades learning Chinese Hanzi. Okay, so now Nigerians learned that Christianity through the Portuguese missionaries who came to Nigeria about 600 years, about 600 years ago, right? Okay, and more than half a millennium ago, Portuguese missionaries came and they brought Christianity and taught Christianity, and then the British also brought colonists also taught Christianity in Nigeria. Okay, British missionaries. Through this group of people came Christian teaching. So Nigerians picked up Christianity through these authorities. And then Islam came through Usman Dan Fodio. Usman Dan Fodio brought the Islamic discipline, and then Nigerians picked it up from him. And so we have these 2 large groups in Nigeria. So now we're working on Buddhism to try to teach Nigerians Buddhism. Okay. Master Singyung's library is, of course, a library which is rich in Buddhist wisdom and knowledge. What do we have for today? For today, Master Singyung instructs, most people tend to scrutinize others with their eyes, constantly trying to assess what is good, what is bad, or who is right and who is wrong. In reality, the most important thing in life is not to scrutinize the behavior and attributes of others, but to examine oneself. The following are some keys to self-reflection. Folks, students, I hope you guys have your pen and your paper. Anybody who's come to my institute knows that you need your pen and your paper, right? Advanced students, you have to have your pen, paper. We just pick points here, points, key points, and then later you can go reflect, meditate, and develop your own based on your understanding of what you've understood from this session, okay? 1, what I call the golden keys. Awareness of danger in high places can make us humble and safe. Some people hold high positions and believe they can look down on the rest of the world from their perch. Thus, they fire off others at others and abuse all the power they can muster. In reality, the higher the position they hold, the more they should appreciate the adage, it is more lonely on the mountaintop. If they fail to appreciate humility and self-cultivation, they may even find themselves in imminent danger. Therefore, if people in high places are aware of their precarious positions, they will treat others with humility. Moreover, they need to keep examining themselves and improving, while at the same time making more demands on themselves. 2, fear of overflowing capacity can allow us to absorb all streams and rivers like the ocean. Arrogance brings harm. Humility produces benefits. If we are arrogant, we are like water in a cup that overflows when full, because we will not be able to expand like rivers or oceans. Therefore, we need to be humble. We should be like the ocean, absorbing and embracing hundreds of streams and rivers, or the high mountain that does not reject any dirt or pebble. If we can defer to others regardless of rank or status, and be able to ask them for help and advice, not only can we win their friendship, but we'll also be able to accomplish tasks with many more supporting conditions. 3. Sharing wealth can help us enjoy our prosperity while helping the needy. In enjoying the fame and fortune earned through our diligence and the merits of our positive causes and conditions, we must realize that the world is impermanent. The world is impermanent. Since everything arises from certain causes and conditions, our good fortune may not last long. While enjoying a life of prosperity, people who realize this truth will think of the many people who are still living in poverty and are in need of assistance. Even one compassionate thought of helping others can allow us to plant a positive cause and reap the fruit of good fortune in the future. Otherwise, if we use up all our wealth and lose our means to help, we will be unable to help the poor, even if we wanted to. Thus, we must practice kindness in a timely fashion. 4. Employing our influence can equip us to help our fellow citizens. Some people may use the power and influence they gain to either take advantage of others, especially the kind and the gentle, or to confer some benefit upon humanity. Kindness or malice is only separated by a single thought, hinging on our conscience and ability to realize the truth. Since government is the ideal place to cultivate merits, people in high office should have some consideration for their citizens. They should not use their authority to take advantage of those they govern, but resolve instead to find solutions to their problems and difficulties. In short, we are now summarizing, as Buddha always does and Master Singh always does. When we are always examining ourselves, we will have less trouble in dealing with worldly matters. At the same time, we can also benefit those around us even more. Folks, this is just kind of brushing through very quickly through Master Singyung's wisdom library, Master Singyung's vast wisdom resources. What does the Buddha do, and what does the Buddha instruct students to do? Reflect and meditate. Okay, this is called Zen or Zazen, sitting calmly, sitting in serenity, sitting in reflection and meditation. This should be your practice. Namo Amitofo.